Let's go right into the video of how I paid off $36,000 worth of debt. This is all from the Dave Ramsey's Baby Steps to Wealth. If you don't know the program, it's just 7 baby steps that you can take that eventually lead you into living a life of financial peace, or some people call it financial independence, financial freedom, what have you. The first thing first, I've had it moment, right? I was broke, busted, disgusted. I was divorced, living in my coworker's spare bedroom, and one day he just asked me like, "Hey man, I need you to come, downstairs." I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" He was like, "Look, sit down at the table." He's like, "We're not getting up until you get your life together. So I need you to make a budget." He was like, "I'll let you stay at my house for a few months rent free. I want you to get your life together." And ever since he said that, everything changed. I started looking up programs. I found the Ramsey plan, and I got serious. And that feeling of just stress and denial and shame, all that stuff left, and all I could feel was just like a fire burning in me that just said, I need more. I need more than this. I don't want to rely on somebody for everything, for my basic needs. I don't want to ask people for money anymore. I don't want to go out with $20 in my pocket. Like y'all, I was going out with $20 in my pocket, trying to go to a bar when a drink costs like $12 a shot or whatever the case is. So I've had it. Second step 2, I don't know if it's gonna be here, up here, I'll try to put it down here. But the second step is you gotta find your why. His slogan is you gotta live like no one else so later you can live and give like no one else. That's cool, but I like to just say find your why. Like, why do you want to do this? So my why personally, I found, is because I wanted to be financially independent. I wanted to be able to, hey, take a trip. If I need to take a 3-day trip just to get away, I can go do that. I don't want to have to work till I'm 65, and I don't think anybody does. So that was a big why, and I also want a family down the line. So how is it fair for me to not be financially responsible and then go have a family, and then now my family, my wife, my kid, we'd have to struggle in the future? I didn't want that. So that's what motivated me to get down and dirty and to start implementing the steps to pay off this debt. So that was my second thing that I did. Third thing you gotta do, find out what you owe and write it down. Find out exactly what you owe. It's pretty much just gonna pull every credit report you have with 3 bureaus, and it's gonna show you what you owe. So I wrote down everything I owed back then. You can even see the date and all the different figures. I don't know, it might be better. And then I wrote the total at the bottom, right? So just write down exactly what you owe and write the full total amount at the bottom. And this way you can track exactly where you're at. And once you've got one paid off, I just scratched it out and wrote paid. And you'll feel, once you do that, you're gonna feel a sense of relief, like, ooh, I just paid something off. This feels good. You're gonna keep doing it. Also put a video, because Every Dollar is another app from the Ramsey team that I use to add my income, subtract my expenses, and find out where your money is going. It's a zero-based budget, meaning everything has to add up to how much you make, and at the end of it, your total should be 0, because you have a certain amount that goes to your bills. It's raining right now. A certain amount that goes to all your other expenses, and then you'll see at the bottom if you owe anything, or it should be at the top, but it'll tell you if you owe anything left or if anything's outstanding. That's how I did it. I'm also gonna add in another video that shows you how I got to work. You just gotta get to work, right? So I moved into the apartment. I moved into a cheap apartment that was about a 15-minute drive from my job, and I signed up for DoorDash. Within, I think 7 months? Within 7 months, I made like $5,000, probably $5,200, something around those lines. But within 7 months, I made $5 grand, right? Which is huge. So I started from the lowest, and I'm gonna put the simulation right now. So I took the minimum payments, right, that I could. After paying my bills, I took the minimum payments, paid on each of my debts. The smallest debt at that time, I think, was what, $245. So I just paid that sucker off. And then afterwards, I just kept doing the same thing. So let's say I got that smallest debt. The next debt I got was, I think, maybe 3,000, maybe 4,000. So I knocked that one out as well. So for an example, January, February, March, April, those 4 months I worked my hardest to pay the maximum I could on that one debt until it was gone. That freed up that amount of money for me to do the same thing the next month. And it's really simple. Once you start doing it, you get into the habit. Some key takeaways to remember is when you pay something off, don't give someone access directly to your bank account. A lot of creditors will tell you, oh, you owe $8,000, we can get you a settlement so you only pay 3, and then that will pay off your debt. But before you pay anything, get it in writing. The number one thing that I want to tell people, get it in writing. If someone tells you that they could settle your account for X amount, when you call these creditors or these debtors up and you ask them, can you pay this amount? Try to ask for a little bit lower than what you think, and then see, once they agree, if they could get that in writing so they can't backtrack, right? And then you can send in a cashier's check, not a cashier's check, but you can send in a money order and pay that debt off. That's the safest way to do this. You do not want to give someone access to your bank account so they can charge your account erroneously or miscellaneous. No, you don't want to do that. You definitely want to get that on paper, get it in writing. And then moving forward, right, I went to the next debt, did the same exact thing. Attention, if you're doing any deliveries or anything like that, pay attention to your car. Instead of every 3 months getting your car checked out, get it checked out every month. Like if you know someone that knows cars or whatever, check your oil level, check your water level, check your transmission fluids. Like check this every single month, because I was running up miles in my car, ended up breaking down every 3 months. I had to pay extra money to get it out the shop faster so I can hurry up and do deliveries. I was working 70 hours a week on average, 70 hours a week, trying to get this thing paid off, right? And I kept doing that. So some tips, right, that I've done that I'm gonna put in the video. A few tips that I've done. I already said the settlement thing. I already said getting your car checked out, because that's actually gonna keep you away from paying the mechanic all this money. Have mental days off. So like, I don't know if you want to choose a Sunday or a Wednesday or Friday, whatever. Choose one day that you're not doing anything but enjoying yourself. This is what's going to keep you from getting burnt out and things like that. Another tip that I have, actually do something for somebody else or with somebody else. A lot of times you're going to be doing this and it's just going to be you hustling, you doing deliveries, and you're going to get that sense of like loneliness, like, man, nobody else is doing this with me, what have you. But that's when you pick that day and you go do something with somebody else. You don't have to do deliveries, whatever. You can go out, shoot pool. You can go out and hopefully not spend a bunch of money on drinks or whatever, but just do something to where you're either networking or connecting with somebody else, laying those burdens on them, and have somebody that you can trust, right, to actually listen to you and just walk with you while you're going through this process. It can get really lonely out here. That's why the next tip I want to give you is joining a Facebook baby steps page. I'm in like 4 of them. I went overboard, but they can really give you some good advice too. And if you have some concerns, you can post it in the group, and you can hopefully get some answers, and you get some fellowship as well with like-minded people that are doing the same things. The last, I think, 6, 7, 8 months of this journey of paying off debt, I actually just made the official move right next to my job. So I live within 2 to 3 miles of my job. So I just use a bike that's right here on the wall to get everywhere I need to go. It cuts out costs of gas, accidents, mechanic visits, breakdowns, what have you. Like, I don't have any of those problems, any of those struggles. I have a small Uber allowance for maybe if there's a crazy rainy day or whatever the case is, But those are some things I did to cut down the cost and use the extra money to kill this debt. Another tip is if you have any kind of government assistance or government, make it fun. Sometimes on these off days that you don't have to be just laying up watching Netflix. You can go into town, do something for cheap or if not free. Try not to go out as much. I try to make that one resting day a day that I'll go out and I'll actually have a drink or two with some friends. Now, the whole, oh, don't go out to eat, that could be really good for your psyche because some people need that. Scratch it off, right? Paid. Take a walk, take a breather. There's nothing wrong with relaxing so your body and your mind can catch up with your emotions and you can be ready and whole to start over the next week. I would sit down at that same table, or I would just sit down at the table at my apartment and I would ask myself, what else can I do to make this go by faster? And some days the answer is nothing, right? I was doing everything I could, but some days I found out different ways, right? Like helping a coworker with something and then paying you, or finding somebody in the neighborhood that might need some handiwork and they could pay me every couple of days that I help them out. Finding people that own businesses and offering to clean up before they open up or clean up after they're done with shop. Whatever you can do to have some extra money to throw at debt that's outside of bills, that's what I did. So hopefully this blessed you guys. Hopefully it inspires you guys to chase your dreams. And it's okay if it takes you more than 2 years, that's totally fine. But the fact of the matter is you're doing something about it, and your life has a lot more action and a lot less talking about it. So have a good one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you want to hear some more videos about this. I'm going to make a few videos about finances today just to harp on the program and how important it is. Peace.